Hello everyone, Yubel Master here, aka 38 the Master 1, bringing you another video for the Yubel and the Edison community. And this is the moment everyone has been waiting for. Official dueling book ranked ladder support for Edison formats. Woohoo! Yeah! I mean, I've been waiting for this ever since I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh again in July, because I do love some Edison format, and right now, before the Yubel support comes out, it's probably the best way to play Yubel. So I have decided that now is the time to release a long-awaited gameplay video, my first one, believe it or not. This is my first best of 3 ranked game since actual 2010. Yes, I actually played this format back when I was 14 years old, and boy was I obsessed. I could stay up late grinding the heck out of Dueling Network, as it used to be called, trying to get wins with my old Yubel deck, making small tweaks here and there, just trying my best, trying to beat all these meta decks. But now I'm back with a vengeance, having fully mastered Yubel over 10 years later, and I'm ready to rain terror upon the Edison community. So as you can see in game 1, they are doing some shenanigans with zombies, and they have just summoned Brionac, and they're trying to extend further. They just activated Book of Life, and they are going to banish my Yubel, which is very unfortunate. And with 2 synchros on board, and not much grave setup for me, there's not really much I can do against this. I'm going to try and summon 1 or 2 things. Start with a Lone Fire Blossom, and then go into Mystic Tomato, but it just gets bounced by the Brionac, and he attacks me for game. So let's see how we do in game 2 here. We have a solid start with Yubel in the grave and Limit Reverse sets. And then we're going to make a couple of trades here. I summon my Mystic Tomato, so I don't really want to summon Terra Incarnate right now, otherwise I won't get the Tomato effect. He's setting up his grave as well. He tries some Banish shenanigans, but I counter with both of my traps here, which was very favourable for me. I get Doom Shaman in the grave. I go for Yugioh Guardian. You can't do that because I have Imperial Iron Wall. And then with Yugioh Guardian, my opponent just scoops here for some reason. I guess he's just scared of Yugioh. And so with game 3 here, I'm just going to pause this, because this game is definitely an interesting one, and I want to show off exactly what's going on here. Okay, so we're currently tied 1-1 here, and the winner of this game will decide the match. So my opponent's going first here, and he just sets a couple of cards, and he starts with a Trap Dutch Shoot, which is very devastating for me, because getting rid of my Dark Grepher really sets back my grave setup by 2 turns. So this is very bad for me, but I still have a Sangan I can set, and an Imperial Iron Wall, which will definitely stop him in his tracks, because Imperial Iron Wall is really hurtful against zombies. They can't activate any of their cards, basically. So we get Doom Shaman in the grave first here, because I have a Yubel in hand, so I can summon Doom Shaman with Silent Doom and then summon Yubel from the hand. So then we activate Imperial Iron Wall just in case they have a bottomless trap hole. Instead they have a Torrential Tribute, but they made the mistake of using Torrential Tribute on the special summon and not the normal summon, which means I still haven't used my normal summon and I can activate another one. So this is mainly lack of knowledge from the player. So I do get out my Yubel here. And then during the end phase, I get out Terra Incarnate. So this is pretty solid. Unfortunately, he does Mystical Space Typhoon my Imperial Iron Wall. But he doesn't really have much follow-up. And I punish his 2 set cards with a huge Heavy Storm. And they're very good traps that I just destroyed there. So we have an additional setup with Dark Tinker. And this is looking really good for me. Long games are really good for this Yubel deck. It's kind of like a control deck. If I can get my graveyard set up and then spell cards in my hand, I can really pop off. My opponent has a lot of cards in hand because we passed a few turns though. He decides to go off on this turn and completely combo out with 2 Divas, Malicious, and goes for the double synchro just like that game 1. The exact same 2 as well, and these are very hurtful for Yubel because Stardust Dragon can negate Terra Incarnate. So he bounces Terra Incarnate. Fortunately, I do get the effect, so he has to spend more resources to bounce the Ultimate Nightmare. He discards the Book of Life, which he could have used to banish my Yubel, so I'm glad I dodged that bullet. I I do have a set limit reverse. I was thinking about using it to prevent this massive amount of damage coming in, but I decided not to, because if I do use it, he does have an additional card which he can just use to bounce my Yubel. And when he bounces my Yubel, there's no way to summon it from the hand, so that would be game over. So I decided to take the damage here and activate it during the end phase. So now I have Yubel attached to this limit reverse, and I go for a swing of memories because I don't want his Stardust Dragon to start negating my Yubel. So I have to go for a synchro play here. So I go for a synchro play into Black Botrigo simply just to attack over it because he has no back row. And just explaining some how Gemini works with this player. We just attacked with over the Stardust Dragon, get rid of the negation effect, and then we summon out Terra Incarnate. Terra Incarnate blows everything up, but fortunately for us, the Black Botrigo does float into Doom Shaman. And my opponent here does nothing and just passes. So I have a free Doom Shaman that I don't even have to normal summon, and I go for another synchro play. Well, actually first I attack because it's more damage, and then I go for a synchro play for Black Botrigo to start the loop again. So essentially this is kind of a loop, where as long as you have enough Black Botrigos in your... I can't see the extra deck right now. As long as you have enough Black Botrigos in your extra deck, you can just keep on summoning it using Doom Shaman, because Doom Shaman gets special summon from the graveyard with its effect when Black Botrigo is destroyed. Which basically means that my opponent has to actually clear the Doom Shaman that gets summoned at the end phase when Terra Incarnate destroys Black Botrigo. Because if they don't get rid of the Doom Shaman, I can just bring out another Black Botrigo and start the loop over again. So it just puts so much pressure on the opponent, because I basically have an immortal 3000 attack. And not only that, but I can actually choose what synchro I want to go for. I could have gone for a Black Botrigo here, but instead I have a line for lethal here. As long as his back row doesn't do anything, which it doesn't, I can just go Red Dragon Archfiend so that this gets destroyed by card effect and not battle, opening the way for my Dark Grepher to attack the game. And there we go. I win my first match 2-1 on Dueling Book Ranked, and I was very happy with that. Completely outplayed my opponent, but they were a little bit unfamiliar with how Geminis worked, so that didn't work in their favor. But that is the advantage of playing a low tier deck like Yubel. Often your opponent doesn't know what's going on and they start playing into things where they shouldn't. So yeah, that was an excellent match, and you can really see how much work that Iron Wall put in. It completely stopped most of their traps and most of their zombie stuff, which a lot of people play, including Malicious and all of the other stuff. So yeah, props to my opponent for being a good sport. And Meister D. It was a fun game, and it was a great first experience on the DB ranked ladder. If you've made it this far watching the video, I really appreciate you guys, and I hope you enjoyed the gameplay, and maybe even learned something. If you have any constructive feedback, let me know in the comments down below. And while you're down there, don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed. Please do subscribe as well. It's free and only takes a couple of seconds, and it keeps you notified with all of my new uploads and everything Yubel related. We've still got plenty of Phantom Nightmare reveals to come, and I'm holding a couple of really spicy deck profiles for you guys. One for Age of Overlord, using Dark Hole Dragon, as well as an OCG list when Phantom Nightmare releases in Japan. So look forward to that. And by the way, for those Edison players who still haven't checked out my deck profile, I highly recommend you check this out, as I really go in depth as to the strategy behind playing Yubel in Edison format. So if some of the gameplay in this video was too fast for you, that video will definitely clear things up. So with that, I thank you all once again, and I'll see you all in the next video.